Well, welcome back to the Good Eggs podcast. My name is Anthony McDermott, and today we're joined by a very special guest, a friend of mine. This is Shane Knox from Not a Statistic CIC and Not a Design Agency. So, Shane, hello and welcome to the pod.
Hey, thanks, mate. Thanks.
Good to finally get you on.
I know, man. I thought you just forgot about us, to be fair. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Long time admirer. He's one of our 7 viewers, so that's fantastic that he's managed to come down. As you can see, the studio's changed a little bit since the last series. We've gone a little bit budget, but this A3, bit of paper A5, I think it is, I think will do the trick. So anyway, welcome. So Shane, thank you so much for coming along. Obviously, the idea of the pod is to talk about people doing fantastic work across the Northeast and beyond. Really what we want to do is find out what makes you a good egg and deep dive into your story and really give some hints and tips to others trying to do good.
Yeah.
So without further ado, who are you and where you're from? So Shane, tell us where it all began. First of all, Shane, introduce yourself. You're Shane from...
Yeah, I'm Shane Knox. I run Not a Statistic North East. I'm the managing director and founder. I fucking hate that word. And so I've been running for nearly 3 years now. Carnage, absolute carnage. That's all I'm going to say. We provide peer support groups all over Sunderland. We do 3 a week now, and then we have drop-ins throughout the week, which are 4 a week now. Which are carnage. It feels like I'd not stopping, but yeah, that's kind of what I am.
Fantastic. So support groups are obviously really important, and we'll get on to that in a little while, but let's hear about your story. So Shane, obviously that's not a Northeast accent as we're based here in sunny Sunderland. So whereabouts were you kind of born? Tell us a little bit about your childhood and what that was like.
So I'm from Aberdeen, Scotland. Was born there, bred there.
Do you speak the lingo?
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't go too far into it. Like, I think I'm a city boy compared to a Chickter, which is someone from the country.
Right, okay.
It's like I'll pop into random things every now and again, but I've been in Sunderland 10 years now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, struggled a bit at school and stuff like that. I was doing well, as in like doing well academically in primary school. Secondary school came and it all went to crap.
Really?
Just getting bullied quite heavily. Wasn't fitting in. Can't really explain it. Joined the Navy at 17 to just run away.
Just as a kid, yeah.
Because the other option was being a welder and like being stuck in a booth for the rest of my life welding, and it wasn't for me. So I decided to run.
So at 17, joined the Navy. So had you had family in the Navy, or?
One of my uncles was in the Navy, but then that wasn't really a catcher for me. It's a bit of a hidden secret. I tried to join the RAF first.
Oh, okay.
But they wouldn't take me because I had asthma.
Right.
But as a kid, it turns out I didn't actually have asthma. My mum actually had Munchausen's, which is where you would take your child to the doctors and stuff so you could get seen by a person. Right. So I got a letter from them saying I never had it, and I was devastated the RAF wouldn't take me. But then I remember coming out and when they tell me they can take me, and I was crying. I was one of the Navy boys on the desk,
right. And
he was like, "What's up? You're all right?" And I explained the thing, and he went, "Well, we take you," and so I signed up, and away I went.
Do you know what's crack is that the armed forces still look at childhood asthma and just bin people off. And it's like, I had it when I was 7. Like, it hasn't affected me for 10 years. What are you doing? It's just mad that they turn the armed forces in general. They still do it this day.
Yeah,
in fact, it's worse now. So my understanding is the current recruitment model and all the rest of it, if you have something like if you have a mental health challenge when you're young or whatever it might be, instantly you just binned. I mean,
it's anxiety and stuff. I've heard of lads being canned from the army because of anxiety. I think, but it is changing because I think we've talked about it with ADHD and people get about ADHD meds. As in now people that are in service are getting amphetamines.
And so they should, yeah.
So I think it is. It's now so many of my friends have come out and gotten diagnoses of ADHD like me.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is so many of them now. And I think it is. It's the routine saved my life. I think it was.
Good.
I've had a depression diagnosis since I was 12.
Wow, 12, that's young, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember writing my first suicide note. In stuff, and I think it is. It's very much I didn't know what to do.
How old were you then? Were you 12?
12, and I think so I went and saw a psychologist at a hospital, which back then was still a lot of stigma around it. No one knew I was going to Cornwall Hospital, and
that's a lot, man, at 12.
Yeah, and I went and saw a psychologist for about 6 months, and they tried all sorts of stuff, like sending me physio to do breath work and stuff. I didn't understand what it was then, in guided meditation and stuff, and I didn't understand any of it. But then I think it was just I was deeply depressed. But then I think it was as well. Now I understand because I've got an autism diagnosis.
Right.
Did they look back at my records? And I probably should have had an Asperger's diagnosis back then, but because my mama took me to speech and language, I didn't get one. And so I think it's the archaic thing of looking at it, that is, if you don't exactly fit in the peg in the hole, then you don't fit. And I think that's where what I'm doing now, which very much I don't care who you are, where you're from. I think it is very much about breaking the barriers and making it so people can access support. But I think that's what I do. But yeah, no, I think so. I did that. Left the Navy after 7 years.
So tell us about the Navy then. So, John, 17, where did you go? Where were you based?
Was Portsmouth. Okay. Was on a Type 23 frigate for about 5 years.
I mean, you can't get much further away from Aberdeen than Portsmouth, to be fair.
You train in Plymouth. So I was in Plymouth, so I was even further. I still remember getting the train from Plymouth to Aberdeen.
Is that what's it called?
It's Raleigh down on the coast. Right. But yeah, so it took us 18 hours to get all the way back from Plymouth to Aberdeen on the train. But that was like no aircon or anything in the middle of summer. It was horrendous. But yeah, no, so I don't know. I did find my place immediately.
Do you think that was what you wanted to do? Do you think you wanted to escape from Aberdeen and from that world and going as far away as possible?
I wanted to be able to find friends, I think. I was lonely. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to sit in a booth for the rest of my life. It bored the crap out of me. Yeah. I think it gave me the idea and the option of travel. I knew my uncle had been stationed in Hong Kong and stuff like that for a number of years and stuff, and I knew that he'd had some experiences. I'd heard some of the stories, but not obviously all the stories. Yeah. I think, but there was a lot of things went on when I was in the Navy, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. Right. We travelled quite a bit. We went around the Med a few times. We went to Iraq a couple of times, off the coast of Somalia. Did the Far East as well for 9 months. That was amazing. Yeah. I think. Did you
get much downtime, or was it all?
Yeah, it was like, so you'd do like maybe 3-4 weeks at sea, and then you'd have like a week or so alongside. And we did you'd have like a stint in the middle where you'd stop off places. So we did 2 weeks in Dubai at one point when we're
nice
and stuff, and we used to rent apartments and stuff. And
how amazing is that, though? You know, and I often talk to people about the armed forces in general, and I mean, the Navy gives you that opportunity to travel and be paid for it. I mean,
and we weren't paid a lot, but it meant, but we weren't paying for digs, we weren't paying for food. So it meant that all the money was going on booze, and I think it was on booze and lasses, and I think it was, that's kind of, it was very much.
You're on holiday, aren't you, almost?
Yeah, that's it. And like, we used to like bump into people like, on the Far East trip, you bump into people in Malaysia and stuff, you pay thousands for flights and that, and we're there staying in hotels and stuff. We were staying in the same hotels, but then we just didn't have to pay for flights. And like, and then so it was like they were all really confused by the fact that we were over there.
Yeah.
But then it was like, but then the good thing about it is you had your family and mates. So I was in the smallest mess on the ship.
Right.
I was an 80-man mess, but we were a really tight community. So we used to go out on the piss together, and we'd be in and out together, and we had our tighter cliques of mates. But it was like we were all partly, it was like they're family, and they still have friends now. There's one who is coming up in April. He's got his 50th birthday in Newcastle.
Amazing.
So we're all staying in a hotel in Newcastle, and I'd booked the hotel, and he went, "You live in bloody Sunderland?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm not missing out on a fun night." It's like, I'm not, man. But I think,
no, I love that. I love that. So operationally, Iraq,
off the coast of Iraq and stuff.
How did you find that?
It was all right. I mean, it was slow and monotonous, or unfair, because we were there 2005, 2006. So it's like everything was kind of winding down, really.
Basra Palace is what, 2003, I think?
Yeah. And so we had the main bit of us was really the Iranians would pop over the water border every now and again, and that'd be it. We'd just be chasing them off, and it was kind of like, and they were just boarding like ships and stuff like that, and doing a bit of maritime protection, really. But then we got to do like stints and stuff, but I think it was a lot of doing long shifts and stuff with people, and a lot of building really big relationships with people, because you were around each other that long, you knew each other's lives.
Yeah.
And I think it was that you knew everything about the person next to you.
And I think that's probably, I mean, we'll come on to it much later, but that stands you in good stead for what you do now, isn't it? Because different people from different walks of life who you can just learn how to speak to people, can't you?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who you are, what your background, whether you're rich, poor, whatever. You learn how to deal with people.
That's it, and it's like you had the people who were from like the greater London belt and stuff, and you had the people who were like people who were quite privileged as well. But then you had people. Most of us weren't privileged. There's people from all over, from Wales, Northern Ireland. There's quite a large proportion of us were from Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. So I think it was that we were all kind of looking for a way to
find your clan.
Yeah,
almost.
and it was like, but then it felt like you were succeeding, even though you were like, for me, I was out trying to warfare rating, so I was a golly, so we would do that, and because I'd been in long enough, I'd kind of got myself up in a senior position, but I hadn't been promoted yet. But it was like I'd gotten a bit where I had people that were listening to me, and then I think it was, but then.
How did you find that? Because coming from a tough childhood where you felt like nobody listened to you and where you felt like you were alone, and then all of a sudden you becoming this mentor and this almost older brother, maybe?
Yeah.
How did that feel? Did that empower you? Do you think that drove you on? Or?
I think it did. I think it would be fair for me. I owe a lot to my sea dad, because when you join a ship, you get given like a sea dad.
Oh, okay.
Not in like any sort of weird way, other than the fact they teach you the ways of like how to survive basically on the ship and how we get used to being there. Right. And so mine was a lad, Davey Wilson, Tug. He was amazing. Like, he looked after us, like, and it was that he taught me how to be a person. But then we weren't perfect, none of us were, and there was still back then, one of the reasons I always put down to leaving was when they started bringing you to wear safety harnesses when you were about 3 meters. Like, I used to climb all the way up to the foremaster safety harness and everything, like, I had no bother. Like, but like, I think for me, it was like when the health and safety thing was coming in, I was like, do you know what, this isn't the Navy I knew. Yeah,
I think the world's got a little bit strange. I mean, I saw something recently with I was in the armed forces in the army, and the 4-tonner trucks, the big 4-ton trucks that they take the lads out on exercise, and in the back, we used to just bundle in the back, Bergens, rifles, helmets, the lot. Now they have to wear a seatbelt and they've got to be strapped in. And I'm like, okay, I understand it and I get it. However, these lads are training to go, and girls, by the way, lads and girls, they're training to go to war. Yeah. Now, when you go to war, you can't just sit there with your nice little cozy seatbelt on, your nice little fluffy jumper. That's not how the world works. And actually, all we're doing is, and I know people might judge on this, but you're just softening people up. You have to give people reality. I think, would you agree?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think it is just the reality of it. It's like, I think it is the bit of it. And it's like where in the Navy, it was quite hard because we always seemed, when the point I was in, we were always training for war constantly. Every Thursday was a Thursday war. And it was like you were pretending that it sounds quite bad really now, but I don't know if they call it the same now, but you had the ginger forces who were attacking you. But yeah, I think it is. It's like, yeah, I mean, so I think it is. It's like that bit of it. But then I think it's like you're always prepping. Like, my main job was trying to look out for missiles and like tracking radars and stuff, and to be watching for attacks. And so I think that built in me a hypervigilance, a lot of listening to white noise and stuff like that. And back then, I probably wasn't the most switched on when it came to being told. If someone told me to do something, I'd be like, right, okay, and I'd do it. So I think it was like, when they were saying you have to listen to this the whole time, there was other lads who probably weren't listening the whole time. And I was, and probably damaged my hearing a little bit because of it.
Do you think that was a little bit to do with the autism Asperger's stuff?
Oh, yeah, and I think it is. And it's very literally like, I remember joining up with 17 and being told you have to shave every day. But what they meant is if you need to shave, you need to shave every day. So I started shaving every day, and I didn't need to. So hence, I have a massive beard, and it's growing in really well. But I've had a beard since I was like 22. Right. And I think it is, it's like I had a full set when I was 22. And I think it's like, I think it was just for a little bit that it didn't really understand the sarcasm or the hidden meaning behind things. People wouldn't say fully what they wanted. And I think, but then for me still, I still struggle with that. I do. But I think it is now as I've gotten older. Like, I've just turned 40, man. I think it is.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, well, I turned in January, like, so I think it was like, I just turned 40, and I think it's for me. I didn't think I'd be here this old. I think there's a lot of stuff that I didn't think I'd make it into my 30s. And I think it's hard, that side of things. But then in Navy, like, I did lose a really good friend as well who'd been out on the piss with us and stuff, and we rented a place in Rome, and stupid drunken accident, he fell out a window, and he died.
How old is he?
23, 24.
Oh, God, man.
Dev's like, really good lad.
And do you know what? As you get older, 24, you realise how young that is, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Like, at the time, it doesn't feel like that, but 24 is so young, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think it is. And we were on the way back from Iraq, so it was like we were on the way back from like being over that Middle East, and it was we'd just gone out on the piss, and a group of lads, we were staying in this, we used to book apartments instead of hotels, it was cheaper. So we booked this apartment and stuff, and I had the keys for the apartment, but two of the lads had gone back, the rest of us gone for big eats and stuff. And then he decided to climb from one window in the other, the scouser as he was. And he fell, unfortunately. And I think it's, so yeah, I think it is, it's hard. And then So every November, I tend to think about him because it was in November and stuff. And I think it's a hard thing. And then I don't know. My main fight now was against my PTSD, really, through things. It wasn't through war; it was through training and stuff, and helicopter escape training. It scarred me, and I think it is. It's that I think that.
Do you want to talk a little bit about it? Or
No. I think I'm quite open about that. I get night terrors about it and reliving the experience. But basically, when I joined the Navy, I was a really weak swimmer. I wasn't a strong swimmer. And basically during the training, you're in a helicopter, a simulator, in above a pool, and they dunk you in it. Okay, and then the next time you spin it and dunk you, and then they spin it and dunk you while they're spinning it, and then they do a nighttime one where they turn off all the lights and everything, and they put you in and spin you. And
does everyone have to do this, or is this
it's just for I signed up to go to Iraq, and go to the oil platforms. So part of it was taking a helicopter. So probably over again, you didn't really need to do the training itself. Not everybody did. But then I think it's but that I basically nearly drowned 3 or 4 times. Well, 3 times. Because I managed to get to the surface on the 4th time myself, because they told me if I didn't, it wouldn't pass. And I still consider a pass. So then luckily I'd gotten binned off that anyway. They shortened the numbers, some Yanks were coming instead. So I think it's and then that really hurt us, because it felt like I was getting rejected, which is something part of my ADHD is I have RSD, which is rejection sensitivity. And so instantly I felt horrendous. I got stuck in a little office in Portsmouth. Honest, it was a little shoebox with 3 screens and a massive screen, and I was doing anti-piracy surveillance and helping watch merchant ships go through, and I did that for 18 months. Sick of my life. I put my notice in twice. Got promised the world, got failed, and then I put my notice in again, and then got punished and sent to Watford in Northwood. And I think it's it was a hard transition out.
Let's just kick after kick after kick after kick.
Yeah, and it basically isolated me away from anybody that I knew, which made it easier for the ex, I suppose. But then I think very quickly I met my ex-wife, and we got married within 6 months.
Do you think that was because you just wanted something in your life?
Yeah, and I think I wanted to feel that safety and to be together. And I think it was we were, I like to think we were in love. But things took a turn there as well. And I think it's that.
And how old are you at this point?
Would it be 24, 25?
So still young, really, still a young man. And at the time, again, you think you're really mature and you're going to do this and you get married.
Yeah.
And I'm the same as you, and I look at people, I was going to say kids, but age 24, 25 now, and I just think you're so young. And I feel like people are getting younger and younger these days, to be fair as well, but they're just young.
Oh,
people.
yeah.
I think you don't know anything, but yet we used to think we knew everything, and actually, you know nothing, do you?
Oh, yeah, and there's carnage. So I didn't have kids that young. It was really hard having kids. Struggled.
So you were in the Navy for 7 years, so this is now you're 24, and is this when you got out of the Navy at 24, yeah?
Yeah.
So you came out of the Navy, and where were you living at this point?
Well, I'd gone up and done some non-destructive testing up in Aberdeen.
Okay.
And as part of my resettlement, kind of got conned, really, because the tickets, the certificates you got were company-based tickets. Right. So as soon as you join a company, it goes to the company, not you. And then, so you pay $5,000. I got $2.5 grand from the Navy, and I paid $2.5 grand in a loan. And I did my tickets and gave them to the company eventually. But I didn't actually find a job straight away, because the tickets weren't the ones you needed to get a job. You needed to get a higher rate. And but anyway, so my ex-wife actually lived down in Easington Lane.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up getting a job with the AA, working in call centres down here. So I was down here for about 2 years nearly. And then I got a job in oil, and we moved up to Aberdeen and did that. And I was a welding inspector for nearly 4 years. Okay. Did some tickets and stuff. It was really good money. I was going
to say that must have been the rush though, was it, in those days?
Well, no, it was getting to the point where things were winding down.
Oh, was it? Right, okay, right.
Yeah, but still, I'd gone from being on £9.50 at Sky, working in their call centre, to £13 an hour as a trainee welding inspector. It's a massive jump. And it gave me feeling a little bit of a position where I was one of the good ones. I wasn't horrible to the welders. And and to be fair, I was a young lad still. You're still young at 27. In lads who were 60 odd who'd worked in the shipyards welding all their life, and I'm coming up and saying, there's a defect in that one, mate. And like they're looking at me, fucking some of them growling. Like, and I think it's like, but I worked with my dad then. My dad worked in the same firm as a labourer.
How did you find kind of instructing these grizzly old guys? Was that easy to do, or did you?
I struggled a little bit, but then I think from being in the Navy, I was used to working with older people as well, and I used to always have a bit of a banter with it, and some of them just really wouldn't come around to it.
Yeah.
And I fell out with quite a few of them, but that was normal because they always fell out with us because we were the ones telling them that they were crap.
Yeah.
But then some of them I had a really good relationship with, and I'd go along and they'd go, I'm coming around to check on you in like half an hour. And then I'd come back and they'd change all their settings, so it was right. And like, so I think it's like, or some of them just wouldn't change their settings, expect me just to lie. I go, I'm not going to lie for you, mate. I was like, and it's like, and then they'd try and and like, but then that's where you got into some really good conversations with some of the lads, because like they were like, it's just this welding procedure just doesn't work. I was like, if you do it this way, it works better. I'll tell you, I'll get a defect on this weld if you're making me do it this way. And I'm going, maybe that's what the procedure's telling you to do. It's like, you need to do it. And I think I struggled with that because my autism side was going, but you need to do it like that. It's telling you you need to do it. So that's how we do it. And I remember it was like doing night shifts and stuff with them and that. And it was like, it's a different world. And like, they taught me how to weld a bit as well. So it was good. It was good. And everything, it was like, I'd come from like doing a bit of stick welding and stuff and a little bit of TIG, but I'd never done the sort of welding they'd done. So I think it was good.
And how was your mental health at this point? Up and down, or were you all right?
Up and down. I think I'd had a wobble when I was down here working in the call centres and stuff. Wasn't a place for me. It just fucking wasn't.
Do you not think a place like that, and this sounds really, because I've been through this as well, is when you come out of the armed forces and you've been around a bit, you've been around the world, you've seen the world, and you go into a call centre, and rightly or wrongly, you're working with these people who are, you know, on a low wage, probably just popped out of the school or the college or whatever, and you kind of almost look down on them a little bit. Would you say that was a little bit of it almost?
I mean, to be fair, the team I was working on, they're all quite a little bit older than me.
Okay.
And like some of them were younger, but they were really good at sales. But then we were doing outbound sales, and it's quite a hard job.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's like, and it was cold calling essentially people who'd been on Go Compare and stuff, and that was quite hard, to be honest. But then I think the goalpost kept on changing, which is something that irked me, but it irked all the people. And it was kind of like all the other people, and it's kind of where we had a camaraderie around it. Yeah. It just irked that we're losing bonuses and stuff over a slight change that they made to something they didn't tell us until the last minute. And like, but I think it was just really hard. I sucked. I was stuck at a desk with a headset on. Yeah. Like, it wasn't for me. I need to be a little bit more active. I need to have a little bit of a flexibility in it. So I went from there, obviously, to being up in oil and gas. The downturns were happening. I was in the third set of redundancies. Right. It was between me and my mate Scott, who was a trainee welding inspector as well. Right. But I was now a welding inspector, and he didn't have his tickets. And he wanted to stay in Aberdeen, and I was already thinking about moving back down here after 4 years.
So you took it.
And I was like, do you know what? I'll take it. I'll take the redundancy. And I got a bit of money out of them and moved back down here. Thought it'd be easier to get a job down here, and I thought definitely wasn't.
Different world, isn't it, Aberdeen?
Out of luck, I ended up working as a data collector for a firm called Lionbridge. Right. And I got the letter through saying, oh, this is where you're going to be working. I knew it was contract. Right. And it was Rolls-Royce in Lambton. Now, there's no Rolls-Royce in Lambton. What's it on about? Yeah. And it was like Berkeley, and I was like, oh, all right. So I was like, what the hell? And then I went along, and it was a new Rolls-Royce factory they built. And so I was in Rolls-Royce working there. And then,
so what year was this? 2015, 16, 17, something like that?
Yeah, it would have been end of 15, 16, because Arthur had just been born as well. Arthur was like nearly 8 months.
This is your firstball, yeah?
The second, aye. So we had Andrew and Arthur. And the idea of moving back down here was to try and get some support from her family. Right. Because I love my dad and my mum. But they weren't great when it came. And my dad was working hard like I was, and my mum was never about caring for the kids. And so I think it was that it was hard for my ex being up there. Right. And then she was quite isolated, and she was quite isolated down here as well, to be fair. But I think it is, I don't know. So we ended up moving to Barmston in Washington. Right. And we're in there for a bit. And it's 4 or 5 years, I think. 6 years. Okay. No, maybe a bit longer than that. But yeah, so we did COVID there as well.
So COVID, what were you doing during COVID? Were you still working? Or?
No, well, I was at Rolls-Royce. I ended up working for them as a manufacturing engineer. The firm I was working for had been taking the piss money-wise. Right. So they let us all go, but they give us like 6 months' notice. So it was really good. And I was contracting with them, and I ended up with Darkham down in Stockton. And I was there for a good bit, and then COVID hit. They didn't want any of us working from home, and we're working on parts for Hinkley Point C and stuff. But my Andrew, he had open heart surgery at 2. Right. Wow. So he was high risk. So I was like, look, I'm not coming in the office. And so I was working from home. that was hard. Having the kids in their house, having the ex-wife and working out of the kitchen and stuff, like being on a meeting and she coming and put the bread maker on, and like I'm sat there like, fuck,
I'm at work.
Like, yeah, fuck, right, okay, and I'd have to like try and juggle it, and I was doing more hours than I'd ever done, and I was doing like nearly 20-hour days on the laptop, and like
I think that's the problem with the good and the bad side of remote working, isn't it? It's great in many ways, and you can do it from anywhere. You can sit in the Barbados Islands, Barbados Islands if you wanted, whatever. But you're also 24/7.
Oh yeah, and I remember taking holidays. It was mad. Taking a holiday and then people would still be texting me and ringing us. And they'd be like, "Oh, hold on, like I'm not supposed to be working here." And they're like, "Oh, but we just need to know this." And I'd answer the question and I'd talking for like half an hour. Yeah. And I'd be back in work mode again. And I was like, but then it's really unhealthy. It's when I got my ADHD diagnosis.
Is this 2021? Ish?
Yeah, getting closer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been, end of 21, 22, really. I got my ADHD diagnosis, was on meds, I titrated on during COVID, and then my autism, I got that 2 years later.
Right.
But yeah, so we got back out of lockdown, and obviously down there wasn't much flexible working.
Right.
They weren't great with helping me transition into the idea, understanding that 18-hour days weren't healthy, and not leaving your desk, not going for a piss, not eating, wasn't healthy. And like the only thing I was doing was getting up to go make myself a brew and then back again. Okay. And so my mental health did take a massive decline. I ended up going off with stress quite a bit because we were ordering like £50 million worth of steel at once. And like as someone who didn't have a degree either, there was a lot of pressure in designing stainless steel pool structures for a nuclear reactor and having all the pressure of the changes and having to on the design and having to fight for it and stuff, and it was a lot of pressure, and I ended up leaving on the sick. Ended up leaving, and properly crashed. But then that's when I heard of Veterans in Crisis, and I just Googled.
Would you say you were in crisis at the time? Or?
Yeah, I was suicidal. I was definitely. I was kind of the end of my rope. I was kind of.
Did you ever action anything at all?
No. I think that's a dangerous thing about myself is because I'm so kind of with ADHD. I'm so quick at doing something. If I have an idea, I'll do it, and then I think it is. So I'm very quick at jumping. Yeah. So if someone comes at me with an idea, I'll sit there and be like, "All right, let's do it." Yeah. And I still like that in business, so I think it is. But I think that's where I've succeeded. I think it's because I'm quite quick at picking someone up. But then I think it is the bit of it. For me, it was hard. I lost my confidence completely. I heard of Veterans in Crisis, spoke to Sam Neill on the phone.
Sounds great, by the way.
She got me in the same afternoon. I remember I got in there and I was talking to her and I was just talking away, telling her what was going on and stuff. And she was looking around her, just not paying attention to me, looking around. And she's like, "Oh, I can't find it." And I was like, "What?" And she had my little violin. And I was like, "Fuck." And I was like, I needed that. I needed someone who was ex-Navy as well would just fucking take the piss out of me. And I was like, and I remember laughing really hard about it. And she was like, "Well, what I'm going to do is we've got this fantastic counsellor. We're going to get you in with her. Like, let me see. I think she's got availability tomorrow, but I'll call you." Literally, I was like 10 minutes out the door. She rang us saying, "You got a meeting with Leanne. You got 18 sessions with Leanne." And I was like, "What?" And it was for free. So I was doing amazing. 18 sessions, basically rebuilt myself up again, my confidence. I'd been through a thing with autism in mind, like me, myself, and autism, like a 12-week course, but it brainwashed me to autism was a problem, and it really wasn't for me. I think it does affect certain things of me, but I definitely say I'm ADHD with a touch of autism. Right. And I think it is that it's very much for me that was dangerous for me because I started saying autism was everything. It was every other word. Yeah. And so Leanne deprogrammed me, and then I did another stint of 18 with her, 3 months later, because I was still really struggling with suicidal thoughts. Yeah. I started volunteering with Sunderland Mind on their men's group, which was brilliant for me. Really helped my confidence. I was just basically making them a brew. Yeah. Just making them a brew, talking to some of the lads. There was even some veterans that were coming in and stuff. And so it was good having that.
Do you feel like it's that? I feel like you said this a few times now. I think when you've got that empowerment, it kind of doesn't wash away the problems, but it takes a lot of the problems away because your focus then goes into somebody else.
Someone else. Yeah. It's so much easier to help other people.
Totally get that.
And I think it is for me. And that's why I ended up working for the NHS in mental health. And I was a mental health support worker for long enough. And put it that way. But then I started when I they pointed out that parts of the relationship with my ex-wife weren't healthy, and that it was time to leave. But then it was just luckily I'd seen a poster with James Ferdaz in the book, and I knew James already from space, and he never really talks about it. He's a veteran as well, and that's a thing. But then I think it's like where I'd seen it and I'd messaged the Bic about coming in, and then I had a meeting with John, and he mentioned with John Forth, and he mentioned about Veterans RV, and then here I am. And
I know we've spoken a lot about this in the past, but I know John was a bit of a turning point for you, really, wasn't he? That meeting with John almost put your life on a different trajectory.
It did, because I'd thought about starting a group. I didn't know what to do with it. I thought about starting my own group.
Was there a reason for that? Is it just because you thought you could not do it better, but do it differently, do you think?
No, it was just that I'd seen that there wasn't enough.
Right.
Yeah. Because part of my job as a mental health support worker was we try and help people get back into the community or out of their homes or their struggling with anxiety and stuff. And we try and find them something, because we only have 6 sessions with them. So we try and find them something afterwards. But then I worked in Houghton and Washington, and there really was nothing. And now there's a lot more things, including stuff that we do. But then I think it is now, then there was absolutely nothing. But I'd found it, there was nothing on an evening really. You had Andy's Man Club, and you had Space North East, which I absolutely love. They're both men's groups though.
You've attended both, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, they genuinely saved my life. They did. The lads from there, the lads from Space are family. I was saying it the other day, I've not been in ages, I need to get myself back there. But I run groups on the same days and stuff now, so I think it is really hard. But then we're talking about, we're trying to sort it so I can maybe come back in the next couple of weeks. But I think but then I'd remember having conversations with lads coming to Andy's Man Club going, I wish there was something like this for my missus. I was thinking, why isn't there? And I was like, I worked with female patients, and my female colleagues work with male patients. And for me, that's kind of where now I've really struggled with trying to get the message across that we aren't a men's group, we're there for everyone. We're open for everyone, and I don't care who you are, what you're from, what you do, where you're from, what your story is. You could have been an absolute arsehole 5 years ago, or even 6 months ago, and then you're trying to turn your life around. I genuinely don't care. It is just get yourself in and get a brew. And I think it is, for me, I'd gone to the Beacon of Light to have a tour from the people there. And then they talked about Andy's Man Club in Space. I still hadn't been there and gone then. And so I'd gone. As much as a sport worker, I just couldn't get myself to go in it. But I'd gone. And then they were talking about trying to find something for a Friday. And I was like, oh, I might do it. And then I rented the room. And then it turned into a massive conflict of interest thing with the NHS. And but then I was on the Veterans RV, and that saved me because I lost my ADHD meds because of the shortage. I started hearing voices because I went into withdrawals. Whilst I was on the RV, I hid it quite well. I think, but I was talking about it to some people. That I was really depressed, but I was like,
well, I ran the program, and I never knew any of this, so you definitely did it well.
I think it's just random stuff. My car broke down. I'd had a bloody Almira as well, and it was due to go, but it was so it meant I had to get the bus, and I hate getting the bus. I don't know what it is. I was telling a story about this earlier, and I honestly haven't gotten a bus for about 15 years. I genuinely don't know how to get a bus, which is really sad, isn't it, right? But I don't know, can I pay by card? I'm sure I can now, but I honestly don't know how to get a bus. I'm going to get a bus this week. That's my promise. Yeah, I know, man. It's easy. It's easier enough. It's easier than it sounds, but then I think it is. I think it is, but I think it is for me. It's it was hard, but then it is the Veterans RV give me somewhere to go every week, and I even got an office here at one point, just so I had a space to go to other than being in the house.
So Veterans RV came along, which taught you how to be an entrepreneur. And then you decided, right, we're going to open the bit, which was already on the cards, wasn't it? Not a statistic,
Yeah, I just didn't know what structure to go with.
You decided to go down the kick route?
Yeah. So we're now a community interest company, limited by guarantee.
How did that feel, by the way, going from all of your experiences, all of your knockbacks, all of your setbacks? So you've had your friend who's, sadly passed away. You've had your son with open heart surgery, is that right?
Yeah.
All of your jobs, the bullying, blah, blah, blah. You've had a really lot of challenging moments in there, as well as the suicidal thoughts and all that. I mean, there's a lot going on, that shit, really. And then you've decided, right, a business is the right thing. How was that? That must have been really, we talked about empowerment, but that must have been incredible, was it?
It was fucking scary. Don't get me wrong, I still fear looking at the bank account. I think it is, and but then I think part of me is, the building blocks that was given by the Veterans RV, and by the staff at the BIC, like Hina and stuff, the building blocks I was given meant that I can keep going. And I think I've had some fantastic support over the years from me, and I think it is the bit that it's like, and then being able to collaborate with people like Zoe from Weights and Cakes and James from Space, and trying to, and even the old rectory and stuff.
I always talk about this, and people think that it's just a bit of a line, but collaboration and connectivity is key, really is, isn't it? There's nothing else better really than being able to work with other people, hear other people's ideas, that coming together. And people don't like it. People are always scared. People are like, look, it's an island, I want to keep this to myself. But the truth is, the more you do together, the more opportunities, the more doors will open, and off you go, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was actually in the co-working space here. I was having issues in Houghton with who was running the old rectory, the old tenants. Yeah. And I was fuming, and I was talking about, but I really want to try and sort a venue in Washington. And it just happened across the thing. I didn't even know who they were. It was Kelly and Amy from Active Families. And they were like, oh, well, if you want to set one up, like, we'll give you our space on a Wednesday night. Amazing. And I was like, what? And then so I went and we opened the one up. And so we've been running there for a year in April. And then, so I think it's kind of like, it's just that conversation.
You just never know who you're going to meet, don't you? And where they're going to lead you. I've always had this kind of attitude, like, whoever you meet, try not to upset them. Try and be friendly with as many people as you can, because you never know when that person, not use is the wrong word, but might come in handy, I suppose. Yeah. I think that's really true, isn't it?
And I think
you're definitely testament to that.
And I think it's like, and there's people like Lyndon Brooks, who runs Be for Sunderland, like, he counsels people for free for me. And so I send people from the groups to him, and then we've got Kirsty from Rain or Shine, who does counselling as well, but we tend to send people who are got a bit more trauma, people like me, really. But I can't, because she's one of the best mates. But she now works for me. And I think it's like, so we have it's just, I've met loads of people who are really useful. And then I did John, he's part of Is This You? I did the Success Programme, the first run of that. That helped me really focus down and realise that, do you know what, you really need to be looking at your own finances a little bit here, Shane. You can't just be bootstrapping everything. And I don't bootstrap anything anymore. No, I love it. I haven't, in the last 9 months, I haven't paid a single penny into it. I think it's where it pays for itself now, which is like what I needed it to do. No,
but do you know what though? Honestly, and I've said this earlier, but you really had a tough time, and it's amazing. I love being a tiny little minuscule part of your story, because to watch you kind of, and I don't mean this to undermine it, but to watch you kind of flourish even the last 3 or 4 years, been beautiful, Shane. I've loved it, and it's great. And now, whenever I bump into you, you're so positive, you're so passionate, you're helping others. You are a bloody good egg, and I'm not just saying that. Like, I really mean it. And just keep on doing what you're doing, man. But so Karen, where are you at the moment? What does life look like at the moment? So there's a lot going on, isn't there?
Yeah, a lot of time in the office. Decided to pick up dating again for some reason.
How is the dating world in 2026?
Even scarier than 2025, mate. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. No, I think it is. I think it's really hard. I think I do a lot in the business and a lot of work, and have 50-50 custody of my kids. Yeah. And so I think it is. It can be hard going home and being in the dark by myself, and that's why I have a lot of nighttime groups, because I don't like it. And I think, but then I think it is. Now we have not a design agency as well. It's coming up on a year. Yeah. In March, which has enabled us to. So we do branding and website design for social enterprises, small businesses like us, charging hundreds instead of thousands, trying to keep it that way, so we can just try and give back to the community that's helped me, and to be able to provide for the business as well. And I've gone from having just me and being on my Todd to having 5 employees.
That's amazing.
I've got 2 psychology interns, and I've got 4 college apprentices coming, digital apprentices coming. I think it's mad.
Imagine this. Imagine if you'd seen Shane 5 years ago and told Shane 5 years ago where you'd be today. What do you think he'd say?
Run. Yeah, no, I think genuinely. I used to always say it. I used to say quite a lot. I regret my life choices. Yeah. I used to say it on the evening groups and stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's a long day, and I've been in the office since 8. And it's getting to 6 o'clock, and I'm going, you need to get your arse moving in the group, Shane. and then I'm like, regret, but I don't get that anymore. Yeah, I think that's it took a while to get past that little bit of it, and it's tiring in the groups. It's hard, but I think that's where we have Ruth and Caitlin and Kirsty and now David, like there's a little community of us who can.
It's picking up the baton, isn't it? So,
yeah, and like,
and you know, if you drop the baton, you don't think someone else is going to pick that baton up and run with it, and that must be amazing.
And I think that's the hard thing I would say is running a kick. I've just spoke to someone yesterday who's talking about starting a kick, and I was saying, hold your horses. Like, I think it's like she's like a dance teacher and does like dance things. And I was like, she was a sole trader. I was like, maybe start off that way again and then go the kick route. I was like, just give yourself a fighting chance, because so many people came and ran away. But then I say that so many people came, but then there was another priority, and I get it. Not everybody can be like me and make this a complete all. No. And I think it is. I think it is that, and that, like Antonia, like she's still our ops director. She's still part of it, but she's just working really hard as an ops director for a firm. So I haven't even seen her in like must be 5-6 months. Right. And I think it is, but it's like it is.
But that's trust, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, and like I still trust her. She's on the bank account still. She's still like, you know, but I think it is. I trust her. I know that she, when it's right for her, that she'll come and say, "Do you know what? Like, do you know what? I think it's time for me to step aside. They step away. Yeah. Like, I want to do something." Like, I think it is just good. But I think it is the little bits of it. I do find myself taking on loads of other things, but then I think it's like next week's going to be a trying one, because I've got the kids off school all week. So I've got them for half term, and so they're going to be in the office, but they're expecting payment in Robux. So it's going to hurt. But
no, great. And honestly, thanks for sharing your story. But a couple of questions before we go. So we always do our scrambled egg moment. Excellent. Yeah. That's really bad, isn't it? It's almost as good as our studio we've built. But so we always ask, what is your scrambled egg moment, Shane? So what would be the moment within your life, career, business, whatever it might be, where you've had a bit of a wobble, something that went wrong, and how did you fix it? How did you overcome it and get back on the straight and narrow?
Wow.
I mean, you've had a few, let's be honest.
No, I have. I think probably about 10, 11 months into my journey when I took a bit of a mental health wobble, and it was just after the RV, because I started the groups and stuff, and like I took a bit of a wobble myself, and I'd called on the crisis team and stuff, and I'd gotten some support from the veterans teams and stuff, and I'd spoken to James and Tristan from Space, and I'd said to him, I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't think I can run the groups. I didn't have anybody in place at that point to like take over, and James just went stop, and Tristan said stop, and I was like, what? And he went, if you're not able, there's nothing you can do. And he's like, just stop the groups for now, just put them on pause. So I did put them on pause for about 4 or 5 months until the conflict of interest was sorted, and I was back at work and stuff, and restarted the groups. People came back, and I think life goes on. And it's like, and I get it, a few of them, they did voice to me how hard it was when the groups ended, but I needed to take that time
to put you number one.
Yeah, and I think it is, and I think it is. It's something we don't do enough, and it's where you'll find me down at Fausto a lot, at Roker, but it's because I spend my life there. Because it's like I'm down at Roker at seafront, love the sea, and I think it is. It's the bit of it. It's like, and coffee fuels me as well, and I think it is. It is the bit. It's like I'm talking about going there in a little bit, and I think it is. But I think it is. It's like, I don't know. I think for me, it's just you need to be right yourself. And social enterprise isn't for everyone.
No, it's not.
But if you think it is, give it a fucking go, man. Like, what's the worst thing that happens? Like,
I love it.
You know, it is for that, and like if anybody's ever wanting a hand, just give us a shout.
No,
I think it is that. I think it is the, like, I believe fixing laptops for Zoe. I think it is like Zoe Weights and Cakes. Like, but I'm helping with her. She's setting like a homework project up and stuff, and that's completely outside of what I would normally do. Yeah. But because she's a mate, I've gone, do you know what? Yeah, I'll jump in, mate.
But you're right, you've got to put yourself first.
Yeah, I think it is.
Final question for you then. What would be your golden egg moment? What's your golden nugget, your golden piece of advice you would give to anybody? Probably starting a business, I think. Yeah, anybody who's looking to do good, looking to build some community project, looking to start a bit. What would be your golden egg?
Talk to someone before you do it. Talk to someone like the big peony if you're up north. Like, just talk to someone. Like, don't just jump into it. Like I said, that person that came and spoke to us yesterday, it's because she's friends with Claire from Fest Events, the CIC. So they should come, brought her into the old rectory, and I just happened to be based there. And so she had a chat with me about it, and so I'm going to put her in touch with Vic. And I think it's like, I think it is, it's very much, it's...
That's sounding more, isn't it?
It's like, I think it is, it's knowing what you need to do to put it in place before you do it, because it's all right having a go, but the first 18 months go very quick, and then you have to put in your first accounts, and you have to be accountable. And I think it's like, it can be really hard if you're doing it like as a kick. And even as a CIO, if you're mad enough to go that way. Like. But then I've already said, if we're getting to the status where we're going to be a charity, I'm stepping away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to do the design stuff and someone else can run that.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't got that in me. I haven't. I'm not going to lie. Although you watch me, I'll end up doing it.
No, I love that. No, but you're right. I think just talk to somebody, being at sounding board, and hopefully that person will give them right advice, information, or even just a pair of ears, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think it is. Sometimes you never know what the conversation is going to be at our groups. And I think it's like, I had a homeless lad coming on Monday to the drop-in. I met him before and that. He's struggling to get placement somewhere. But luckily, I know the housing team. So I emailed the housing team manager and said, look, his worker's not getting back in touch with him. Turns out there's a little bit of a thing going on that he's got a past and he's currently banned from City Hall and stuff. But then that doesn't mean that in -degree weather he has to sit out in the streets.
No, of course not.
And like, we have people like Matt who runs Oceanda in that. And I think he's been placed in there before.
All right.
So I was like, is there any chance? I was like, it'd be a really good placement for him.
Yeah.
And like, well, they turned around and said no, like, but there's not much I can.
But again, that's just somebody you've met on your journey, isn't it? Just by chance.
Yeah, and that's it.
It's important to get out there and just talk to people, isn't it?
It is, just networking. Like, there's all the networking events and stuff like that. And I struggled for a while, but there is well-being networking, like connecting for good. Like, but then going to normal networking as well, I found that beneficial because I met some people from like IT places and stuff like that, so I go to them for advice now. And like, it's having people like someone from payroll, so I know that I could go to her when I get big enough and I can't be arsed with it anymore and go have it. But yeah, no, I think it is. It's just in keeping your eye out for free courses, because there's good value in them. Don't get me wrong, some of the stuff I've been on, I'm going, why did I bother? Yeah. But I think it is. It's like, there is a lot of value to certain things. You might not think, but then like the ones that the BIC have done about AI have been valuable for me. Because like, now I use AI for basically everything I do, which a lot of people have an angst about it, but then it makes my job easier. And I think when you're already spinning 50 million plates, so what if AI helps you with 10? I think it is. It's like, it's just trying to really help yourself out. But yeah, I think it is. Go and definitely talk to someone about it, even if it's just picking up the phone and trying to talk to me, man. Like my door's always open.
There you go. Shane Knox, not Statistic CIC, not design. Give them a shout. This guy can talk to you, can help you. And Shane, I think on that note, thank you so much. It's been great. Obviously, we've known each other a little while now, but that's the first in-depth chat about your life we've had, and honestly, it's fascinating. So, so thank you so much. But Shane, all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for being a good egg. And yeah, cheers, buddy. You're a star.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.